Well, welcome and hello everyone to this particular topic called the $1 Million Baby. My name is Troy, and I am a financial educator with Wealth Wave. And I want to discuss a particular topic I think you'll find very interesting today, and it's called the $1 Million Baby. Today, we're going to go over the $1 Million Baby strategy. It's a revolutionary new way for families to think about leaving a legacy to your children, grandchildren, nieces, your nephews, or any other children in your life you care so much about. The $1 Million Baby strategy was introduced in the best-selling book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Circle. It is the first financial education book that anyone at any age and any learning level can enjoy and benefit from age 10 to age 100 and everyone in between. And speaking of the number 100, the book has now been featured on over 100 prominent TV shows, and I think it's now probably about 150. But some of those shows are including CNBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, and many others. Also, it's received a rare endorsement by the Heartland Institute of Financial Education. And of course, it's all over the web. Please follow the How Money Works on Instagram for weekly tips and practical ideas. All of this is part of an exciting mission to make the knowledge of how money works, that critical life skill that's not taught in schools, accessible to every family and every parent, which brings us to our topic today. If there's about to be a new little one in your life, regardless of whether it's your child, your grandchild, or a new niece or nephew, you always want the child to have it better than you. That's natural. The example you're going to see today is an example of how to reimagine how parents and families can leave a legacy for their kids. It's a strategy that applies the power of compound interest and the time value of money in a way that makes traditional end-of-life wealth transfer seem old-fashioned and unnecessary. We call it the $1 Million Baby. Think about it as one of the greatest gifts you can give a child, a future. $1 Million Baby is a common sense strategy that empowers families to create a legacy for their children without having to be wealthy. Would you have guessed that only 20% of children will receive an inheritance? It's probably even lower now that so many people have faced the challenges of 2020 or the pandemic. In light of this sad statistic, our present reality, it's time to completely rethink how our parents leave a legacy. If you want to give your children $1 million at their retirement, which one of these two options is more likely? You either give them each $1 million in cash when they're adults and you've saved enough, or you develop a plan to save a fraction of that amount for each child when they're young. We know how hard it is for retirement age parents to preserve an inheritance for adult children. With seniors living longer, almost all of their savings may be required to cover dedicated of expenses, including medical bills and long-term care. This new reality of longevity can remove the possibility of leaving an inheritance the old way. Since it's so hard to leave an inheritance today, why not use the greatest financial asset your child has? You know what that is? It's time. They have an entire life of it, or maybe a grandchild. What could the power of compounding do for your child or grandchild over 67 years? Let's take a look. The $1 Million Baby leverages three simple money concepts: the power of compound interest, the time value of money, and wealth protection. This is one of my favorite quotes. Nelson Hinder said, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not sit." Let me say that again. The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not sit. So could you use the money principles you've learned today to save $1 million for your child or grandchild? It's easier than you think. The following examples are simply to illustrate how this can work. In the first example, Dana, she puts $13,000 aside one time and leaves it from her daughter's birth until her daughter turns 67. it grows at 6.5% to a little over $1 million. If Dana waits until her daughter graduates from high school, her daughter only receives about $300,000 when she turns 67. What a difference 18 years can make. 18 years can make between $300,000 and $1 million. Hector doesn't have $13,000 sitting around, a little bit different for him, but he still wants his son to retire with $1 million. So he and his relatives can work together to save $2,500, and then just $250 each month for the next 4 years. Then, like magic, they will hit the goal too. His son also retires with $1 million waiting for him. If Hector's wait until his son turns 18 years old, it's the same story as if Dana had waited, much less, a little over $300,000 again. Again, 18 years make a difference between $1 million and $300,000. We are developing a calculator that will allow you to play with the numbers to see what it might look like. In the meantime, your financial professional or I can help you decide. 250 children born every minute could live a different life if their parents or grandparents did this for them when they are young. Now, you see why we call this strategy the $1 million baby. How appreciative would your kids be one day, perhaps, when you're gone, that their parents thought about their future, knew how money works, and acted in love to take care of them. That's a thank you that could change your legacy forever. Sucker-minded people leave it all to chance. They may not subconsciously think, but they're embracing a notion that sounds something like this. I hate to say it, but my kids will probably have to fend for themselves. They'll be lucky I don't end up moving into their basement. Now, that's how the sucker-minded thinks. The wealthy-minded think radically different. They realize that a dream come true, it would be to give their children a financial advantage that kids could count on for the future. Their mindset sounds more like this: if there's an affordable way to set up my kids to be taken care of in the latter years, my family and I will get it done. The sucker is resolved to accept limitations they don't know and any other possibility. The wealthy, on the other hand, use their empowerment of education to do so much more for their families. It's all a matter of knowing how money works and acting on it when your children is young. This brings us to the end of our presentation. And now you know an entirely new way to think about leaving a legacy for your children or your grandchildren in your life. Instead of feeling regret at the end of our lives at how little we have to give, we only need to give a little at the beginning of their lives. One day down the road, no matter how many mistakes they make along the way, they will marvel at how much you were able to provide. I invite you to get together with me right away. Don't let another week go by. There are so many options and possibilities, no matter where you are with your personal finances. To put the $1 million baby strategy in place for your kids or your grandkids. A meeting can be scheduled right after this presentation or in the next few days. I want to say thank you for attending, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for listening and watching the $1 Million Baby.